Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I wanted to do a quick video all about animal repellents. So, it's a problem that every gardener faces, and to be honest, there's just no simple answer, there's no solution, there's no, for sure, no animals are going to eat these plants kind of situation, and every year is different, so it's really hard to give advice on this other than you can feel the camaraderie of gardeners all around the world, basically dealing with the same problems as you, so you're not an island. And recently we had new neighbors move in, they built a fence, and our deer pressure is so much greater than it used to be. And I used to think it was bad, but now it's epic. And you know, it's definitely making me change a lot of my habits, and well, I'm having to keep up with putting out repellent a lot more diligently than I used to. Now, I've been giving presentations on this topic for more than a decade, and my number one tip is always get it in a container that's small enough that you can grab it when you walk outside and go to your mailbox. You can have this in your hand. You can spray the plants that need to be sprayed on a regular basis. I firmly believe that the recommended application rates are really inaccurate and that you need to spray way more often. However, the key to animal repellent is that you actually apply it. And I know that sounds funny, but look, step one is buying it. Step two is actually putting it out in your garden so that it's effective. Having it in a container in your shed doesn't actually do anything. And I'm saying this as much to myself as I am to all of you. So today I'm taking on 3 big challenges. Deer specifically, they're eating all of my camellias in the woodland. So I'm going to go ahead and take some time right now to give everything a good spray. We don't really have any rain in the forecast, which is terrible. However, it's great for applying repellent. I'm also going to go ahead and try and deal with this massive mole tunnel that we have over on our side property over here. And I'm going to put a bunch of this. This is actually a granular repellent into the holes, in hopes that it will do its job and prevent the moles and voles from using that superhighway. I'm really concerned because it's getting to be so deep that I think it's a trip hazard. I don't want to hurt myself. I certainly don't want visitors to hurt themselves when they come this spring for garden tours. And then something that I have long been avoiding, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I found this rabbit, dog, and cat repellent, and this is specifically for my cats. Yes, the cats that I feed and house. They are so damaging. They are just digging up my seedlings, and I want to stop this habit, and I don't know how to do it other than put this out. So I was just reading it, and basically this is a mix of cinnamon oil and thyme oil. So it is organic. It's not going to hurt the animals at all. I think it's just meant to be that they don't like the way it smells. I haven't actually given it a sniff. I don't like the way it smells either. The convenient part of this is I'm about to go out of town for 10 days to South Africa, so I won't be here to deal with all of the smells that I'm about to apply in the garden. Poor David will have to live with that. All right, well, let's go ahead and start with the obvious, the deer spray. This technique is really self-explanatory, and then I'll show you how I'm going to go about utilizing these other 2. Hopefully this will give you some new ideas, and maybe if nothing else, just to feel like you aren't alone and that your garden is a war zone with regard to all of the animals that visit every day. Well, I posted a video a few days ago from the Cape Fear Botanical Garden where their camellias are getting decimated by the deer, and the same is happening here. You can see I've gotten tomato cages around some, cattle fencing around others, but I'm going to go ahead and give this a good spray with the I Must Garden deer repellent. And what I like about this is the mint scent, so it really doesn't smell all that bad. And I know it works because I've used it for years. I just have been a little lax about getting it out, and well, it shows. So I showed you some camellias at Cape Fear that had no foliage whatsoever. Here's one of mine, and this is one of my favorite varieties, Marie Bracy, which is a beautiful plant that I featured in that video. And, you know, I don't even know if this plant's gonna make it because, you know, camellias are broadleaf evergreens. They aren't supposed to go deciduous. They don't actually store energy like deciduous plants do. So we'll see. This is a tea plant here that you can see they're eating the tips of. So it's going through and basically giving all of these camellias, you know, a good spray. You can see the fencing is helping, but adjacent to the fence, they're eating. So anywhere they can reach, they're getting to it and they're eating it. Here's another camellia that they ate every leaf off of before I realized it. So I've got that in a tomato cage. Again, I'm just not sure these will even make it, which is really sad. You know how I love my camellias. I don't want to jinx it, but so far these larger camellias in here aren't really getting a lot of damage. And I'm going to go ahead and spray them as a preventative measure because I don't want to come back from my trip and have all of these plants eaten. That would be very disappointing. So let's go ahead and do that in hopes that I've just saved my camellias from the herd of deer. Well, I think I've successfully used another bottle today, so I guess I am getting some things accomplished. Nothing like a big trip halfway across the world to get you motivated to do all the things you've been putting off. All right, next up is the mole superhighway. And this has been a problem ever since we built the garden 13 years ago. And really what I need to do is treat all the lawn area with milky spore powder. And I'm waiting to do that until like probably the last part of March. And that will basically inoculate any of the grub worms that are overwintering in the lawn and kill them. Therefore, the moles won't have a food source, so they'll go to other people's yards. And the milky spore powder is really, I think, the most logical thing. It's been about 10 years since I've done it, which is why my mole population has gotten really bad as of late. So that's going to be in a couple of weeks, really like towards the end of March. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and double team this because it's already pretty much dug up. I'm going to go ahead and fill the entire tunnel with the Permatil, also known as Volblock. See right here, this is a great product. I got this at Bell's recently. And then once I put that in, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the mole and vole repellent from I Must Garden all over this area. And they actually do give you instructions for treating your entire yard. I'm not going to take that on right now. I'm really just dealing with this section. When I do milky spore powder, I'll make sure I do a video, and I'm going to do both yards because the other yard has even more mole activity than this one. That's never been treated before, so that's definitely part of it. All right, so it's going to take a few minutes to dig this tunnel out with my groundhogs, and then, well, fill it in, and fingers crossed, maybe this won't be the mole superhighway. What'll end up happening is they're going to move it like 24 inches. There's really no tricking the animals. And last, but certainly not least, I'm going to go ahead and put out this rabbit, dog, and cat repellent. And I'm specifically looking at areas like this. This area has been dug up and reseeded 3 times this season because my cats are naughty. So I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle it. And with any luck, that will be enough to keep the garden cats out of here and actually let this last round of seeds that are just starting to germinate actually take hold so that this corner won't be empty for the spring display. I'm going to go ahead and apply this all the way down the line and in all the areas that have new seeds germinating. Most of the garden is well established at this point, but I did do areas that are just starting to germinate. Those are the ones that I really want to give the extra protection to. Well, everybody, I hope this video will be helpful, or at the very least, make you feel like you aren't alone out there battling the animals and losing the war. This is really a problem that affects everyone who gardens, and one of the things that I've learned over time is to appreciate the animals you have, because there are worse ones out there. A friend of mine once said that when the armadillos arrive, you would French kiss a deer. And honestly, I believe that's accurate. Armadillos are about 60 miles south of us, and they are moving north. And when they come, it's a whole different ball game, and it's going to be a nightmare. And of course, if you're complaining about deer, be glad they aren't elk or moose. So imagine how much damage those giant creatures can cause. But recognize that we're all in this together, and I am wishing you the very best in your battle against all of the creatures that are eating your most beloved and expensive plants. Well, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and happy gardening.